because I'm starting to give details. Okay, so I'll just say that one more time. Kate's going to do a Coach Basics call Wednesday for our new coaches. And then next Saturday, we will not have our runners call because most of us will be at Summit. And then as far as our team call goes, instead of having a team call that Sunday night, simply because some of us will be coming home from Summit and will be beat, we're going to do a power hour as a team that following Tuesday night. It'll help us end the month strong. So I'll get you details for your calendar, but I just wanted to give you the heads up that there won't be a call. I know that a lot of our new coaches seem to be enjoying the momentum that our team is having. It's been really fun, kind of like re-engaging everybody and seeing how many new coaches are joining us. So I just wanted to share that with you ahead of time. I also wanted to give you guys a heads up, or not a heads up, but I guess ask you a favor. So I shared that sneak peek in the coaching group that we're going to have as a team. I really want you to lean into it. If you're not coming to Summit, I want you to, invite your challengers, invite your potentials, and say to them, like, I wasn't able to make it to this event this year. However, I'll be there next year, and I'd love for you to join me. Would you like to check it out? Invite as many people as you can, because I promise you this will be the best sneak peek into coaching we run all year, because it's fun. So we'll share the behind the scenes. We'll share live videos while we're at the workouts, like the events. Like, it will be the most high energy. So if you have any potentials, I think it will really help you seal the deal. So please, please, please add them in. Summit goers, if you can make that group fun, that'd be great. And then the people who are staying home, can you guys add value to the team page during the week? Do you mind doing that for me? So whether it's a call, whether it's just anything you can come across and find, like I said, because we have so many new coaches and they're hungry. Like yesterday, one of my brand new coaches, out of nowhere, she's like, "Here's my blog. How's it look?" I'm like, "You just made a blog? Like, that's awesome." So anyways, I just want to keep up with that momentum. Anything you guys want to chat about before we start? Like, anything you want to say or you want to cover? Okay. So I loved asking for your topic whenever I was like, what do you need help with? And I really actually was surprised when you said promoting the coaching opportunity. And I don't really know if it's because I just take for granted that we all know how to promote the coaching opportunity or what, but I thought it was a good time for me to step back and say, okay, like, how can I help them? And what can we do to make promoting the coaching opportunity fun? Hi, Grace. I see you. I have an office door and she's standing at it, like banging on the door, if you can see her. Can you see her over there? She's like, "Let me in, Mom." So anyways, okay. So here's what I stepped back and I started to think about something. And I want you right now to start to think about this too. I want you to start to think about your weight loss journey. So whenever you joined me, whenever that was, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, Lindsay's like, I'm getting old. Whenever that time was that you joined me, I want you to think back to what did it look like when you started? And what happened when you told everybody you were going to start to lose weight, or you were going to get fit, or you're going to do Beachbody? And they probably looked at you, or they probably chuckled and said, okay, good luck. And I'll tell you, my story is probably similar to a lot of yours. Was I decided that I needed to lose baby weight. And so I started, and I did this alone. So for 3 months, I got through 21 Day Fix twice and P90X3, almost all of it, before my husband cared at all, before he had any interest in exercising, and before he believed me that I was serious about coaching. When I began to be a coach in March, so I was a challenger in February. In March, I decided, this is it, I'm going to be a coach. And I told everybody that I was going to be a coach. And I remember everybody being like, that's a great hobby, and you'll be sick of that really soon. Did you really get a similar response whenever you said you wanted to be a coach or you were going to lose weight? Yeah? Yeah, good luck, right? And so I decided to play a game where I was going to just be in it for the long haul. And so did Lindsay, and so did Vanessa, and so did Michelle, and so did most of my coaches that I initially recruited. We played a game. It was who's going to stay here the longest, right? And we're all still winning. So here's the deal. In the beginning, no one really believes you. And no one really has you have no visible, tangible proof to show that what you're doing is going to work. And so I want you to think maybe not necessarily to your weight loss story, but to somebody who's had incredible weight loss. Like, the coach, is it Tulum or is it Tulene? How do you say her name? I think it's Tulum. She has lost an insane amount of weight, and her story will make you cry every single time you watch it, because she's been in it for the long haul and she's gotten the results. She is a very successful coach for one reason. She shared the journey. She shared all of it, and people watched her achieve it. There was no question when she got to her, I don't even know that she's at her goal weight, but when she got to her destination where she is right now, nobody said, how did she do it? They all knew how she did it because she documented it and she showed it. And so that's what we need to start doing when it comes to the coaching aspect. We want people to see your journey. We want them to see you as a brand new baby coach celebrating small victories all the way up into being shouted out as a 15-star diamond coach. And we know that it's possible. And I'm going to talk more about that in a few minutes. But anyways, I want you to truly understand that your weight loss journey and your coaching journey are very similar. In the beginning, no one's with you. In the beginning, no one really believes you. And in the beginning, it's hard, right? It's hard to do this. It's hard to recruit your first coach. I don't know if you remember who your first coach was, aside from maybe a spouse, because that one doesn't count. But it was hard and it was scary. So I just want you to compare it to that as we go forward. Please know that it starts somewhere, and your team starts somewhere. You will show up long before anyone else is on your train. I used to host team calls by myself in the dining room, and I would hit record and I would pray that Kevin didn't walk past, because I didn't want him to know that I was having a team call by myself because I just asked him to watch the kids. And I was like, I've got this team, and I would record these calls and I'd post them to the page, and my brother was in the page and Lindsay was in the page. And I'd pray to God that they watched them, and they didn't sometimes. My brother certainly didn't. But I believed before anybody else did. And you have to start with that vision too. So if you've ever read the book, it's a it's a Gladwell book. I don't have it on my bookshelf, but it talks about how in order to be successful in anything, whether it's basketball or whatever, basketball, business, whatever it is, you need 10,000 hours of practice. And so that when you hit that 10,000 hour mark, you're considered an expert. That's how long that they say the Beatles practiced before they became known. Like they say that everybody, until they become a somebody, for the most part, they've had 10,000 hours. I believe that. I do. I believe that I am 4 years into the business now, and I'm not a 15-star diamond because I'm not ready. I want to be ready. I've watched enough training videos that I think I could tell you I'm ready, but it's not my time yet. And it will be my time sometime soon. And I have to believe that. Otherwise, I never will be. And so every one of you on this call today need to believe that you're working on your 10,000 hours and that you're getting there. I do a lot of PD, and I hope you do too. Every day, I choose to listen to a training or a podcast, not just for my soul or my spirit or whatever, but so that I can just learn. And sometimes I sit on these calls that I'm listening to in the shower or while I'm working out or while I'm making dinner, and I say to myself, I already knew that, or I've heard that before. And those of you who've been here for a while, like Vanessa, Lindsay, Michelle, you probably feel that way too. You're on a call and you're like, I know this. And sometimes you probably feel frustrated because you're like, I know this, but why does my business still look like this, right? Do you ever feel that way? I do. Sometimes I'm like, what do they have that I don't have, right? We've often asked that question. It's not that they have something that you don't. It's just the way they're doing it. And so I think sometimes we need to really step back, and we need to stop doing something. We're really good at watching other coaches, and we'll say, I only watch a few, or I only watch this one. And I say the same thing. Like when I talk to Megan, I'm like, oh, I only watch XYZ. But really, I get myself, I watch. And then when you watch, do you know what happens to your light? It gets a little dimmer for the day because you're like, like gosh, I wish I had Success Club 100 or 200, or I just wish I had 10, right? Do you ever feel that way? You're like, I just want 10. And you start to compare and you start to say to yourself, like, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I'm never going to have their success. But what those people did who had the success is they stopped watching other people and they decided to let their light shine really brightly. And they just decided to let it be their race and their pace, and to truly, I've said it to you guys, my Lindsay and Vanessa are like, blah, blah, blah. I've heard her say it before, put your blinders on, but I mean it. Like, put your blinders on and say to yourself, this is my turn. Like, I've been in line. I waited in line to ride the Ferris wheel for like 4 years. I'm going to ride the Ferris wheel this year, right? So that's how I want you guys to go forward with this. Of those of you who've been in it for a while, you need to say, it's my time. I'm going to step out so everybody can just get the hell out of the way because it's my time. And so that needs to be your momentum going forward. And so it's time to decide that you will give yourself three coaches who you really look up to and who you relate to. And those are your three who you're allowed to watch, and you're not allowed to watch anybody else. Okay? Deal? Because I had to tell myself that too. And maybe you only have two, and good for you if that's your case. Yeah, whatever it takes. I am crushing hard on Kim Fitzpatrick lately. I like watching her stories. I like her energy, her light. She's my person. So I watch her stories. But hers are long. But anyways, moral of the story is just pick a couple, not all the top 10. Like, some of my newer coaches are like, I like to watch all the top 10. That will take all day and it will dim your light, because you will say to yourself, I'm not her, and I'm not at that point in my journey. So it's time to stop watching the others. What I think is actually really incredible, I will say this. If you look at right now, our top 10 coaches in the network and the organization, that we're having a shift in the current. For a long time, in the beginning when I started, those top 10 coaches, they held their spot and they didn't move, and everybody really looked up to them. What is happening now is, because of the way they've changed the elite points and the ranking and the leadership development, you are seeing people who were last year's 1-star or last year's 2-star become this year's 15-star and this year's top 10 coach. And they're doing it, and they're called, what does Carl call them? He calls them, there's a name for it. It's not the growers. He talks about it. They talked about it in New Leaders. I don't want to say the doers. There's a name for it. You guys know what I'm talking about. They've been talking about it on the National Wake Up Call. It's like, what is it called? But basically, it's people who are having really rapid growth. And what they're doing is they're doing behaviors. And one of their behaviors. Hold on, Vanessa, you're muted still. Let me unmute you. Go ahead. She's still muted for some reason. You want to type?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I think it is called the growers, or I think it starts with a G. He said it this week on the National Wake Up Call. I think it is like the growers.
Basically, they categorize these coaches who, like, all of a sudden you're like, whoa, it's like you're running a race and they came from the back of the line and then they won the race. And so these are people who are doing certain behaviors that are making them have rapid success. And one of them is definitely Instagram stories. And it's crazy, because you go and you look at their accounts. Lindsay and I talked about this yesterday. The people who are hitting 15-star, like Holly Hillier right now, Ashley Laughlin's about to go. What is your other one? Emily, what is it? Favre, yeah, she is about to go. And like, there's all these coaches that they didn't just go 5-star, they went to the top of the charts. And what they're doing is it's mostly all coming from their Instagram and their stories and the way that they're sharing the opportunity and their call to actions. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to decide who are those top 2 people that you follow, or top 3. I want you to scroll way, 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 way down in their feed. Go back to their beginning coach life, okay? And I want you to look at, what did it look like then versus what does it look like now? They're not any different than you. I promise you they're not. And they're not any better than you. And I want you to even take a second to look at, the new 15 stars, the Holly Hilliers, the Ashley Laughlins, those people. I want you to look at them, and I want you to know that their content probably looks like yours, right? Some of you will look on their pages and you're like, mine looks similar to that, right? Or my stories are similar to that. That's a good thing. That means you have the same potential that they do. Lindsay, what'd you say? Emily was a shaky diamond before 80-Day Obsession launched. How crazy is that? Like, that is an insane amount of growth in 6 months. So if it happened to her, it can happen to you. When I was new, they used to say, fake it till you make it. And I don't like that. I like fake it until you become it. So here's something that we have to step back and remind ourselves. In our world, rank is a big deal, right? We love to know, what rank are you, or how many diamonds does she have, or whatever. But only we understand that. Only you are the only one who logs into your back office every Thursday. You're the only one who actually knows how much that paycheck was. You're the only one who knows what your rank really says and the number of personally sponsored coaches in your downline. So it's time to start talking that you have a team, that you're a part of a team, that you're growing a team, and you need to start speaking that vision. Because no one really knows, right? They just know your attitude and the persona that you give off. They don't know that it's you and your husband and that's your team right now. And you don't need to tell them that, okay? And I remember signing like my third coach and being like, welcome to the team. And I was like, oh my God, but now I have to add her to my team page and there's 3 people in it. Like, I was like, what do I do? And Deidre was like, add her to Forever Fit, add her to the dream team, and just explain that we're all part of the same team, because we are. Genuinely, we are. So they don't need to know that they're especially your first coach, and we don't need to tell them that. We just need to share our vision. And so here's the deal. I've gotten away from saying I was a health and fitness coach. I say that I'm a lifestyle coach, and I say that all the time now. I never say health and fitness. The reason why I say lifestyle is because, yes, I can teach you how to lose weight. I can teach you how to be healthy, but I can also teach you how to live a lifestyle. Okay. But here's what you have to do. To be a lifestyle coach, you have to share your happiness, you have to share your joy, and you have to share your hard work. Remember how we focused, I think it was last Sunday, I made a post about the whole I'll have what she's having. I really want you to run your business this way for the coming months. I want you to question yourself constantly. Give yourself that gut check. Do you want to have what you're having? If you are watching you on social media, do you want it? And are you sharing it in a way that others want it? You need to share it so that when people watch you, they think to themselves, I have what she's having, and I need her and want her to teach me how. And you need to portray that message, because they're curious, but they're also scared, apprehensive, worried. They've probably been burned. At this point, some people have been a part of other MLMs. You need to show them why yours is different and why you're going to genuinely teach them how to be a great coach, because that's most of their fear, that they're going to do this and it's not going to work. That's their fear. And they don't want to be embarrassed that they posted on social media that they're, doing something or selling something. So I want you to take those people who are curious, and I want you to invite them and to foster that relationship with them and to help them want to become a lifestyle coach. Now, some of you said to me, I don't have big financial gains yet. I'm not making tons of money, and I have very few coaches under me. How do I quote unquote glamorize that? I think it's very simple. I think you need to stop focusing on those 2 things and focus on all the other wonderful things about coaching. Number 1 would be the friendships. Do you know how many people are out there at our age in the game who do not have boatloads of friends, who do not enjoy getting on calls on Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. to see people that they used to be strangers, right? We didn't know each other, but you're here. That's a culture. That's a tribe. That's something that people don't have. How about the sense of purpose that this gives you, right? Do you know how good it feels to sit down at night? I hope you still feel this way, that when everybody goes to bed and you're like, I get to work, or whatever time you work, how many of you feel like you have a purpose? You sit down and you're like, I love this and I'm changing someone's world. And that, people don't have that. There are a lot of people who feel unfulfilled at their careers. They're no longer happy. They have not read a personal development book in their life, and they have no growth, and they're stuck. And they're probably stuck not just from a feeling standpoint, from a financial standpoint, especially at our age in the game, 30s, 40s, 50s, people start to run into those problems where now they're in debt and they're stuck at their desk job and they can't leave. you have a side hustle now that can help with that. If that's a struggle for some people, you have a purpose. Talk about who you've become because of coaching. And I also want you to talk about how you have the chance to pay it forward. Like, you would feel bad, right? You get scared to invite to the coaching opportunity. Yet if somebody were to ask you, like, what if you didn't have coaching in your life? You'd be like, oh my gosh, I love coaching. And I believe that you feel that way. And so I want you to think about, what if there was somebody out there who was a challenger or a great customer who you knew would be great at this, but you didn't invite them because you were afraid. Stop doing that. Invite them. Give them our world. Give them this culture. Give them this friendship. And I also want you to get into the habit of documenting the small financial wins. I can't tell you how powerful it was one time when I saw Deidre. So this is before I was a coach. She made a post that she paid for her kids' swimming lessons with her coaching money. Swimming lessons cost what? $150? I don't know, something like that, depending on where you live. And I remember seeing it and being like, oh, I can't pay for swimming lessons. I could not pay for swimming lessons. I was in a place financially that I had a teacher's salary that was maxed out. My money, my check paid the mortgage and daycare, and that is all my check paid. I had $0 left afterwards. I used to tease my husband and say, can I buy a Starbucks? And he'd be like, I guess, but it's coming out of my paycheck. So I personally was not making enough money to be able to pay for swimming lessons, but coaching helped me pay for swimming lessons. I remember I used to take Carter to Target on Thursdays because I could. And it felt so cool when I was a new coach. That is a very small win, right? Right now, I can take Carter to Target anytime I want. But then I could not do that. And so when I would take him and I would let him buy a toy, I felt so proud. And I remember taking a picture, like I still remember taking a picture and making a post and being like, it's Beachbody payday. Mommy treated him to a toy. Paying for things like karate lessons. Or I will never forget the Christmas morning that I woke up and I knew that every gift under that tree had been paid for by my hustle in October and November. And that was huge to me. So please consider these small wins and don't be afraid to share them. Even little stuff. You guys hear me say this all the time. When I went to Ulta, and there was I had $200. I remember one of my checks was $200. And I was like, I earned this Ulta trip. And I spent every last penny at Ulta. And it felt so damn good because I could do it and I could pay for it. Kate, what'd you say? I love teaching, but the salaries. And then you're married to him. Yeah. So it's such a respect. It's sad because it's such a respectful career and it's not rewarded enough financially. And so that's why when I'm recruiting, guess what my team looks like? You guys are mostly all teachers. It's funny. And so when you're going to build your team, you're going to probably build a lot of teachers. And guess what? They're going to be some of your best coaches because they're super organized, driven, motivated. You want teachers. So when you're making your posts about your small wins, don't forget that when you share it, those teachers who are watching you are in the same boat. Don't doubt that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just transition for a second about what's next. So you got over the fear of talking about it. You're sharing the small wins, you're inviting, but now what? Because some of you are getting to that point where they're saying, oh my gosh, I am interested. And you're like, shit. Now what? Because I don't have a video to give them. I don't have a team call to give them. What do I do? That's what's happening to my newer coaches more so, where they're like, help, I have someone, but now what? So here's what you need to do. You need to sit down and you need to create a system, an info system. Decide today, what's it going to be? Is it a short video that you record on your own and pretend it's getting like I don't want to say getting started right call, but like a sneak peek call where you basically answer all the common questions. Don't make it longer than 30 minutes or they'll stop watching. I want you to decide, is it that? Is it an email with a series of video in it? That's what mine is right now. When you're interested in coaching, boom, I send you that email. There's like 5 videos in it. And then from there, I ask them, and this is so important, guys, please get on the phone with me within 24 hours. You have to strike while that iron is hot. So say to them, here's the info. Are you available to get on the phone tomorrow night? I'm free around 9. And they're going to say, yeah, no, that doesn't work. How about the next day? Don't let your foot off the gas, because if you give them that info and you never follow up with a phone call, you're going to really struggle to get them to commit. Same with giving them a date. Okay, Coach Basics starts on this day. Are you in or are you out? If you're out, that's fine. I'll reach out to you next month, but I will not be doing another training for another month. And so really put that ooh, I'm going to miss out. Put that on them. When you train them, I want you to lean into your upline if you don't have a system yet. And I don't want you to be ashamed if you don't have a system yet. Here's the deal. The Dream Team has Vimify. Now, Melanie's kind of getting away from that, but the Dream Team has trainings. I have trainings. If you have an upline below me, they have trainings. But more than anything, the back office has the first 30. That was intended so that if you don't have videos that you've made or your own Coach Basics, you copy and you paste their script. For 30 days, there's your new coach training. It's wonderful. There's nothing wrong with the first 30. Yes, it's not you in every video, but who cares? It's a training. So, because some of you have said, I don't have a Coach Basics training to give them. Give them mine until you feel comfortable. And when you feel comfortable, do your own thing, whether it's the first 30 or whether you study the first 30 and you make your own videos and you do it that way. But that content is correct. I'm working to have a team YouTube channel. And on our team YouTube channel, there'll be a loop of videos for Emerald training, for Instagram training, for Facebook like page training, all of it. It'll be there. So then you can say to them, here, welcome to the team. Help yourself to these calls and these videos. But please know that the best thing you can do with a new coach is to stay engaged and stay excited with them, because here's what's going to happen. When you stop and when you slow down, your team will slow down. I promise you that. Okay, that happened to me this year because I did slow down. I had the baby, I had the move, my life, I had to slow down. And what happened was my business slowed down. So every time you make that choice, you need to know that that's what will happen. But today, as we kind of wrap up this call, I want you to decide that these next few months are going to be a period of rapid growth. It's the time where you're going to go from the person who was at the back of the line to the person who everybody says, where the hell did she come from, right? Where did she come from in the race? Because she just came out of nowhere and she came sprinting. It's time to sprint. So today, study your goals, decide what they are, and then analyze your actions. Because that's the key, is the action. You have to take massive action. I want you to speak as if where you're going is the most incredible place and that you're going to have all the success in this incredible team. And I want you to ask people to come along with you. And I want you to ask about 4 days a week, meaning that you have a call to action to join you. And I want you to commit to having an Instagram story every single day that shows you working the business. Whether it's working during a nap time, whether it's, doing a client check-in every day in your challenge group, but you need to show it because you want people who say, this business looks like work, but it also looks like a hell of a lot of fun. And I want to have what she's having. I will tell you that when I was, Okay, so I'm about to say what Lindsay just wrote. When I was brand new, I decided that I was so into this business and I was going to be so good at it that I was going to be the next top coach. And I remember telling Melanie that I was going to be the next top coach. I was like, I'm coming for you because I love this business that much and I'm going to be the next top coach. And I believed it. And that whole year or 2 years, I really think everybody else believed me too, because I had that mentality that I was going somewhere. And I'm going somewhere again, and you guys are going with me. And we are going to be a top team. I want to see 15 star. I want Lindsay and Vanessa and Kate and Carrie and everybody to see 15 star. I want you to be a part of 15 star, and I want you to be your own 15 star. I think it would be insane, but I know we can do it. And so I want that momentum, that excitement, because when people are on that train, they're excited. But when people are on the train where you say, I'm going to stay Emerald for 3 years, do you want to join me? No, they don't. I'm going to make $15 for the rest of my life. Do you want to join me? No, they don't. Okay. So I want you to speak what you're about to become, and don't let anybody else, get you down, and don't let anybody realize what the rank says in the back office or how many PS coaches you have or what the paycheck was last Thursday. Speak about who you're about to become, and then promoting coaching will be very easy. All right. I'm rooting for you. We can do this. Excited? Yeah, go ahead, Vanessa. Hold on. Oh, smile. Got it? Awesome. Thank you. Ladies, thanks for your time. I'll miss you next Saturday, and we'll catch up the following Saturday. Have a good day. Take care.